So, Dan, how are you tonight?
I'm very well. Do you want me to look at you or to the camp? Like, cheat myself? I'm very well, thanks. Yeah.
How are you feeling about tonight? Obviously, the big reveal.
Do you know what? It's always a bit nerve-wracking, because I used to do comedy, stand-up comedy, and if you do a show and you're on stage and it's not going great, you can sort of like alter what you're doing. So you go, okay, they're not really digging this, but with a screening, you just sit there and you show it, and there's nothing you can do. Like, I'm not saying it's going to not go well, but if for some reason it wasn't, you're like, you can't do anything about it. So that part of it is nerve-wracking. You're just like, here it is, this is the finished thing. But, we've done some screenings, we've played some festivals, everyone seems to really enjoy it. It definitely feels like a crowd-pleasing kind of movie. It's fun. It's got some really big moments in it. For a small film, it's got some really fun, crowd-pleasing moments. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and what inspired you with the film? Obviously, at the moment, there's a lot of debt, a lot of crooked politicians. What inspired you?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like there's any. I have a dearth of inspiration. I guess what inspired me was, well, first of all, I'd made a short film about a kidnapping scenario, and it did really well in festivals. And I thought, maybe there's a way of doing this a bit, as a feature film. And then I sort of come up with the idea of making the hostage a politician, and it just kind of came from there. I just thought it could be a good way of discussing some of the themes. Weirdly, we made it 2 summers ago, and so many scandals and so many prime ministers and so many things have happened in 2 years. I've just been sort of biting my nails, going any moment the landscape could change so drastically that my film might just be totally irrelevant. Maybe they'll call a snap election and we'll have a Labour government and everyone will be feeling positive, and my film will just feel like old news, So it's been a weird, building up to this moment, it's been kind of weird waiting to see. But this government just keep giving us people that, make us really dislike politicians, unfortunately.
It really is media worthy, right?
Yeah.
And what politician are you relating to?
Am I related to?
No, relating in the film.
In the film. Oh, you mean who is he kind of based? He's sort of an amalgamation of the type of politician that we have nowadays that seem to be more interested in their career and their profile than they are about ideology or constituents or anything. People like Matt Hancock, who decide to go into the jungle saying it's to raise awareness for dyslexia, but really we know it's him trying to do a sort of save his image, PR sort of say, I don't know how to put it, but it's people like him and Dominic Raab and Cameron and all these people that just feel like they don't really stand for something specific and are all getting money from, just the fact that Liz Truss was considered the worst prime minister that ever lived and now has a guaranteed salary for the rest of her life is how is, no wonder people would desperately want to get to the top, because it gives you some sort of longevity. And so even if you're considered, most people, if you're considered that you made a massive mistake, you sort of reap the consequences. So he's basically an amalgamation of all these people that we've seen over the last probably 10, maybe even there's a bit of Tony Blair and stuff. It's not just a purely conservative thing, yeah.
And how do you feel about the actors and writers strike coming up?
I fully support it. I think it's difficult. I think it's frustrating, but times are changing at such a rapid speed, with technology especially, that if people don't do something now, actually try and put some infrastructure in place to protect them. And by the way, that doesn't just apply to the entertainment business. They announce that they're getting rid of all kill people on train stations in the whole country. It's like, well, what world are we heading towards? We're heading towards basically a digital world where we all, I don't know, sit in homes with headsets on, sort of, I don't know, like, who knows what's going to happen. So I think I fully support it, yeah.
And are you working on anything exciting now?
I have a follow-up film which is set in America, which obviously is slightly on hold because of, I mean, technically it could go because it's an independent movie, so it isn't part of the deal that they're trying to strike up in Hollywood, and that's a sort of more of a horror comedy, and we've just got a cast attached and stuff, so hopefully in the autumn that's the plan, but with the actor strike maybe get pushed back to next year, we'll see. And then always like writing stuff, developing stuff for TV as well.
That sounds exciting. It sounds like comedy's your niche.
I mean, it always has been. That's my background, and started to do a bit more dramatic stuff. I mean, even in this film there is like, yeah. Oh, thank you. So, yeah.
Well, I'm very excited to see it, and I hope you enjoyed tonight. Thank you so much.
Cheers. Thanks.